Hello everyone, this is Ramirez with Tidewater Renaissance Fighting Arts, and today we're going to talk about footwork, which is why I don't have a weapon on me at the moment. I want to start out by just explaining that in addition to teaching HEMA stuff, I'm also a dance instructor, particularly ballroom dance, and in our manuals for dance we have some very simple rules, and one of them is you move the moving leg with the standing leg. And this applies to anything, it's just that that's how they word it. And in a lot of medieval manuals, they talk about the virtues of being a good dancer in a medieval sense, being a part of your fighting, because it does help your footwork. They aren't entirely wrong. But I want to really focus on the mechanics of movement and how this principle will help us. A lot of this, like anything, if you really want to master footwork, it has to be automatic. It has to be as simple as walking. So if I walk, I don't think about it, I just do it. If I walk backwards, I walk backwards. Good footwork should be the same way. Speaking of that, the normal walk that we use really works on this principle. I put my foot out, my weight transfers onto the foot, and it arrives. This is how you started walking as a baby, and this develops into what we call our natural gait. However, moving in our footwork for HEMA should be closer to what we do in running. In running, we don't really put the foot out and step. We actually push off of the foot that isn't taking the step. Then our hips turn, we push off that foot to take a step. And that, what it does, it moves our trunk. So I want to apply this to some standard kind of footwork drills, and I want us to understand one principle for us, which is to create movement. Our back leg is what pushes the action. I'm going to put back in quotations because back is relative to where we want to go. If, for example, I want to go backwards, then my back leg is the one that's here. It's in the front because the direction I'm moving is this way. So if I want to do a retreat, I'm going to push with my back leg, moving my body, and then recover the leg. So I'm pushing with my back leg because my direction, that's forward right now. If I'm going forwards and I'm doing an advancing step, it is the back leg, the one here, that is pushing my body forward. Even though I'm taking the step with my front foot, my back foot is doing the work. So whenever I want to move backwards, it's the front leg, or what's back to the direction I'm going. When I want to go forward, it is what is the back leg that is pushing my body forward in this direction. So all of, really, if I want to move and move well, I have to understand this concept. Now, this gets a little more interesting in left to right. I'm going to put my feet in kind of a T position. If I want to move to my right, and I have 2 feet here, you can kind of see that this one's in the lead. In other words, if this was a horse race and it was a photo finish, this foot would win. So it is the front foot. This is the back foot. So if I want to move to my right, I would push off my left foot. Allows me to move that way. If my feet are together, slightly forward, it's still that foot that moves the trunk of my body. So anytime I want to think about moving this way, I want to think this is the leg that's moving me that way. If I'm going to my left, then right now, and I'm kind of in a left-handed stance, if it was right, it would be reversed. But right now, this foot in the photo finish, so if I'm right-handed, so it's this leg that pushes me that way. And I'm a left-handed person, there's a left-handed channel. It's now my right foot pushing me to the left. If I reverse that, it's still my right foot pushing me to the left. So you can think of it this way when moving sideways. There's still the back foot. I think that's the easiest way to think of it. But another way to think of it is always right foot moves me left, left foot moves me right. And if I think about that, my body is going to have better movement, even if my feet are together. If I want to move, left foot moves me right, right foot moves me left. A lot of times we're tempted, because let's say I'm going to my left, to move my left foot and not let this be the active participant. If I do, you'll notice my trunk, my body doesn't move as far. Some people in advanced fighting theory might use that deliberately. I take a step like this and don't move my trunk. Person sees this, assumes I'm going forward. That's a little more advanced. I want to just talk about regular body movement because I think that's complex enough to start out. But I want to remember, if I'm moving forward, it's my back foot that pushes me. If I'm moving out and I see this photo finish, it's the back foot. Even if that back foot is in theory the front foot in terms of where my feet are, hopefully this makes sense that that's going to move my body. Now something interesting happens when we go on diagonals. So if I'm here and I want to do a cut and I want to do a passing step, where is the push happening? Well, clearly, my left foot, because I'm left-handed, I'm stepping this way, is the back foot, but it's going to change. So it's where the back foot will be. So actually, even though this foot is moving, and it might be transferring some weight, all the action is what's going to end up being my back foot. Same thing, if I'm cutting across this diagonal, even though this foot's taking the step, and it's my back foot, it's the foot that's going to end up being my back foot that's doing the work of moving the body. And I'm going to step back so this makes a little bit more sense. So let's say I'm here, I'm doing a cross cut. If I want to move my body, it's this leg which will become the back foot that's going to move my body. If I'm cutting this way, even though I might transfer a little weight using the back foot, it's actually going to be the front foot that becomes the back foot. That's going to move my body. What happens if I'm going backwards? I'm going to start my initial push off what I consider the front foot. But since when I'm going backwards, this will end up being the back foot, it's what's going to move my body. I might take a side step, but really what's moving my body will eventually be the back foot. So this one's doing the work because when we're done with the position, you'll see that ends up being the back foot. So once again, I move across. Going forward, I may initiate by pushing the back foot, getting my weight here, but this leg is doing the work. If I'm going across there, this leg is doing the work, moving my body. If I go backwards, I might slide it here, but this leg is doing the work. It's the back foot because I'm going that way. Same thing, I might slide this foot, but this leg is doing the work because it's the back foot because my forward direction where my trunk is going is that way. I'm going to do this sideways so you kind of see the same thing. So I'm here. I'm moving diagonal. I might use my back foot, and you can see my trunk shift weight, but this leg, which will become the back foot, is what pushes the body. Here, I might transfer weight here, but this leg, if I want to move, that's what's really doing the work to get me there. If I'm going backwards, same thing applies. I might slide my foot here, little pressure, but what's really moving my body away is this leg, which, since that way is forward, it's the direction I'm moving, this is the back foot. I might slide this, that's the back foot that's actually pushing me into that action. If you're doing a gathering step, which is different than an advance, typically, for those of you who do rapier and other things, is pushing off the back leg to create. A gather step is not uncommon, it just reverses the process. I take a step, and then I push. The rule about the back leg is still true. If I'm moving forward with the gathering step, it's just that I'm bringing the foot in, but this back foot is what pushes me forward. If I'm gathering to go back, it's still the back foot in that I'm moving this way that's pushing me away. So I would gather, and then that back foot is doing the work, depending on what direction I'm moving in. So I want to gather, push. Gather, push. So hopefully this is helpful to you. What you really want to do is practice these steps, your forwards, your advances, your crosses, and understand and make that movement natural. This way you're able to cover more ground by using your body more effectively. If I need to get away, I don't want to try to put my foot and put all the pressure here, because ultimately, and I'll do this sideways, if I really rush like this, I'm not moving my trunk. and that means that my range isn't being impacted. If, however, I get my weight to my center line and I push here, you can see that my trunk is actually being moved away. My body is being moved away from my target. So it's very important that we understand, if I need to get away from someone, if they're in range, and I just want to get just outside that range, I have to push my front foot to move away. This will also help you to unlock your knees and see your real potential as you get lower, because your stretch of your leg will be bigger. So that's our video for today. I have a bonus for you. I'm not putting this on the links for the group, but I'm going to put another video with a drill for us to do to help us learn our footwork. And that will be on the channel, so go ahead and look for that, and I will see you in the next video.